Hello everyone, welcome back. So in this video we are going to discuss about the interface and the static methods. We have discussed what is the interface in Java 8 and what is the default method and what is the static methods, right? So we have discussed everything in the previous videos, right? So here we're gonna create a simple example to explore that. Okay, let me create a new interface here which will help us to get the person details. Finish. This is going to be our traditional programming model like before Java 8. Okay, so let's have a simple method here like int calculate total salary. Okay, so what does it mean actually? So what I'm trying to do is I have a um, around 7 or 8 persons, right? So what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to calculate the salary, the total salary for all the persons for each month. Okay, if I calculate the sum of all everyone's salary, it becomes the total salary. Okay, so I'm going to have a list of person here because each and every person has a different salary, right? Person and person list here. Okay, import the list. Okay, so first step is good. So then we need to have another implementation class which will implement this particular interface. Okay, let's create another class here. Person detail IMPL, and it's going to be extend the person detail interface. You can either do like this or else you can go open a class and you can implement the interface. Finish. Okay, so now we got the person implementation. Not extends, it's going to be interface, right? It's implements person detail. So what is happening here? Come on, it is a class, not an interface. Second. So still I'm getting an error. The reason I have a class here which implements the person details, but we need to define, the explanations to the interface method, right? So what you can do is just highlight it here. See, add unimplemented methods. It will implement the method signature here. Okay. So what I'm going to do, I have a person list, right? So I need to calculate the salary. So I'm going to use a person list and open the stream and then dot map to know the salary for person, and the method which you're going to call is, one second, get salary. Okay, get salary, and the method which you are going to use here, reduce method. You must have remember why we are using reduce method, correct? So the beginning value is going to be 0 and the explanation, the second parameter is set x and y, and I'm going to add x plus y, so which will eventually help us to find the data. What is here? Okay, there is a problem here because salary is double, right? But the interface is int. Let me modify to double. So then this has to be modified. So what is the error here? So the error, what is the error here? Cache 02. Okay, it's a double, right? So it has to be D here. Okay, that's good. So now I need to have another class which will work like as a client to invoke all this operation. Okay, so I'm going to create another class person detail client. Finish. So now we got the class open, right? So now what is the interface name? The person detail, right? Person detail, person detail, and the implementation class is going to be person person details IMPL. Okay. So now what we're going to do? The first thing, I want to know the salary. That is the only method which we have done, right? So what I'm going to do is, let's put a SysOP here. So total salary. So I'm going to use the p dot calculate total salary, where we can get the person details. So what we can do is, we can get it from, we can copy it from somewhere here, okay? So this is the place, right? Copy it and keep it in the class level, so we can use it all over. Make it as a static. Okay, so I'm going to pass the list of persons. Alright, so let me run this method and see. Run as Java application. So there is an exception here. So what is the exception? Null pointer exception. Obviously it will throw null pointer exception. The reason is, when we working on the previous example, we made a data as null here. So we need to remove that. And now run this. See, the total salary is 37,648. Got it, right? So the first thing is, then this is pretty much the plain Java previous 8 Java 8 material. Let's try to implement the Java 8 functionality, like introducing the default method. So I'm going to have a default method here, which will return the total kids. Okay, the number of kids. So total kids. So again, it's going to take the list of person list, and then it will return so how are you going to take the list of person? We can do the same thing, like person list dot stream dot map person and get kids dot. One second, can we use somewhere here? Okay, we can use the reduce here. Reduce initial value is going to be 0, and this is going to be like our old way, x plus y. So this will give us the total kids count. Okay, but normally in previous models and all, what will happen if you add a new method in an interface? Wherever the interface implemented, you need to provide the implementation, but since it's a default method, we don't have to, because this is a method which implements that person detail, right? But I'm not getting any error. Okay, that is the advantage. So we can simply call the method with the help of person detail interface. So total kids count. So instead of calculate salary, you need to check total kids. That's all we need to do. Let's run it and see. The total number of kids is 13. Okay, so now we're good to go. So what else is still pending? So we have seen normal interface and the default method. The one thing is missing is the static method. Let's have a static method which will return list of string. The string contains the name of the persons. String, and person names, and the input is going to be the person list again here, and here return person list dot use the stream, then map the data with the name. So using the person, I'm gonna retrieve the get name and then collect them as a list using the collectors dot to list. That's pretty simple, right? But again, I'm not getting any exception here because that is not an issue here, because that's a static method. I don't have to provide any implementation here, because this body explanation, this body you will never seen in the previous versions of Java. It's only possible in Java 8. So only thing which you need to do, just call the method here. But another important thing, since it is a static method, we cannot use this object to call the method. We need to use the interface to call the method, right? Okay, so how we are going to do that? Let's use the person detail here. Person detail dot person names and list of persons. It will return the list of data, and then dot for each system dot out println. Correct? It will print the data. Now run the code again. See, everything got worked perfectly. But you might have a doubt. Both are look similar, but what is it? Another important thing about the default method and static method. When it is a static method, you cannot override, right? But if it is if it's a default value, you can override. So what I'm going to do is I'm just copy this and I'm going to the implementation class and I write it again here. Total kids. So what is happening here? Okay, public. So I'm just randomly sending some data. For example, okay, 10 plus 10. So if you got the result as 20, so we know that this implementation has been called, not this particular implementation, because overridden always happen in the child class. This is a parent, right? So this is the interface, the class which implements the person details. So parent detail becomes a parent and parent detail IMPL becomes a child. So child always overrides the method that has a higher priority. Got it? Let me run this method and let's see what is the kids count. If it is 20, that means it came from the child implementation. Just run it again. See, now we got the data 20, not the previous one. And another thing, you cannot override the static method. The reason is that the static method called using the class names, right? So you might think, what will happen if I do? Okay, let's do that also. Control C, person details. I'm gonna implement the same method here, but there is no error. Correct? The reason is this particular method belongs to the person detail IMPL. Correct? So here I used this particular person detail and I call this particular person names. This will always invoke the method under the person detail, which is nothing but this interface. It will never go to the person detail IMPL. Correct? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to send some random list here, like arrays dot as list 1 comma 2. Okay, so let's run this method and see which method is called here. You can see the same old person names, right? So obviously this method is called, not the method which we return in the implementation class. So if you want the implementation method, okay, so you need to go to the implementation class dot person names and then you need to do the for each. Got it? Let's run it again. Now you will be able to get the 1 and 2 which is coming from the person detail. So just keep that in mind. Default method you can always override. So the child class always getting the maximum priority. So that method will call static method. You cannot override the static method. Okay, which will always be unique. With this we came to end of the particular video.